Hey,
everybody. Or Felicia.
everybody else and Felicia. Happy Tuesday, you guys. Happy Tuesday. John Hanson, he is working out some technical difficulties, but we wanted to get this show going, get it on the road.
Yeah, he'll be joining us as soon as he can because he is live out in the elements today.
And they one are of his favorite places.
Yeah. And they are steamy elements to boot. Let's take a live look outside right now. The weather is hot out there. Current temperature near O'Hare about 89 degrees, but it already feels like 95. It is sweltering out there. The high actual air temperature today is going to be 94. So it's going to feel probably over 100 degrees as we get into the afternoon. Expect to see some clouds increasing as we head through the midday hours. Thunderstorms could possibly be isolated and scattered in nature today. We're looking at another stifling hot day on Wednesday, 95 degrees. You'll see a mix of sun and clouds out there. Just a chance of rain on Wednesday, about 30%. Excuse me, 20%. Thursday, we're looking at a few clouds again, 93. Chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms out there. Same story on Friday, 90 degrees. We get a little reprieve over the weekend. Saturday, Sunday, getting a little drier maybe.
A little.
That's so weird when we're still talking about mid to upper 80s and low 90s. Monday, 80s. Upper 80s, we'll see lots of sunshine out there. So really in a sticky, hot pattern for the next few days. We'll get some drier air as we get closer to the weekend, but be careful as you head out the door because it's hot out there today, folks.
Yes, this is an opportunity to certainly check on your neighbors, the elderly folk that you might have around. Just making sure everyone's okay, especially if you know somebody doesn't have air conditioning because it is thick. Girl, I thought I was going to melt.
Go outside, girl.
It was outside. I had to come back in. Okay, guys, time for a quick check of news as a financial behemoth is getting fined in connection to the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking case. Brandon Pope joins us with the latest with the update. Hey, Brandon.
Hey, what's up, guys? So a Deutsche Bank out of Germany, they've reached a settlement over ignoring lots of red flags in its relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The bank is going to pay $150 million to the New York Department of Financial Services over suspicious transactions by Epstein, including the wiring of money to alleged co-conspirators. A New York lawyer also argued the bank did not blink with money that was wired to Russian models and $100,000 used for tips and household expenses as it was listed. All this happened despite the bank deeming Epstein a high-risk client in 2013. The bank is also accused of focusing their attention on his ability to generate millions for other clients rather than his possible offenses. The bank has responded. They tweeted out a statement today saying, "We acknowledge our error of onboarding Epstein in 2013 and the weaknesses in our processes. We have learned our mistakes and deeply regret our association with Epstein." They are the first and only financial institution to actually face any repercussions so far when it comes to their dealings with Epstein.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, surprised slightly to hear it coming out of today. I knew that there was going on in the background, but to see them slap something on a major bank like this, it's pretty interesting.
I mean, it's. I guess we want to say it's good to see them distancing themselves. I just question as to why specifically now, when it seems like this could have been done before.
Yeah.
Hey guys, can you hear me now? By the way.
Hey, look who's back.
Hold on, I'm about to act like a guest and go like this. Did that work? No, that didn't work, did it?
No, now you're sideways.
Okay, but I am live at Impact Field. It is opening day for the Chicago Ducks. You might have already covered this, but they put us in the scoreboard. I think my laptop overheated.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's not like melting or anything, which is certainly good news. I assume, Amy, you already did the weather too.
I did, yeah.
Well, in short, it's really, really hot. So they got a little sweet here. I might try and move inside in just a little bit, but that's the update here. So bear with me. I'm going to hop on out, but we'll have more on the Chicago Dogs in a little bit, okay?
Okay, thanks, John.
Okay.
And thank you, Brandon. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
sorry
you.
to interrupt there, Brandon. Thanks.
Yeah, John.
We'll talk later.
All right, guys, let's move on and get to our first guest, a beauty expert who specializes in head-to-toe makeovers and puts the focus on inner beauty, too. Liz Kennedy, friend of the Jam, joining us again today to talk about all the great things going on. Liz, thanks for joining us.
Hi, beautiful. How are you?
I'm great. How are you doing? You're looking fabulous.
Girl, I am trying to take care of a baby. We're
Nice.
from home.
Yes, you look so great. You don't look like you're having an issue with the quarantine 15 at all.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it together, guys. I'm trying.
Good
And
job.
How is baby doing?
Baby is good.
How many months now?
8 months.
8 months. Okay. Okay.
Because
8
when
months.
we saw you, it had only been like 2 months since you had your baby, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. Everything
Oh.
happens pretty fast, let me tell you.
Yeah. No rest for the weary, right?
Yeah. Yup.
Yeah, you
How-
make a
how's
beautiful
everything-
baby.
How's everything
Thank you, my
going?
love. I mean, everything's okay. You know, California changes like the wind. 1 second they're saying that we're opening. The next second they're saying we're closing back up. I don't know.
Yeah.
How we all feel right now.
Yeah,
Yes.
basically.
Talk a little bit about, you've been doing some makeovers in quarantine.
Yeah, so I actually was supposed to sell the makeover show to a big network before the pandemic. And obviously that happened. So we can't shoot on set or anything. So I started thinking, all right, I have clients that want to shoot that's, you know, content that's relatable to summer. How do I do this? So I turned my house into a studio set. We wore masks. We social distanced. We used my neighbor's pool. I basically took over his house to shoot a pool scene and I made it happen.
That is awesome.
Yes.
One of your makeup tutorials just there a second ago.
We got lost in looking at the tips. When Amy and I see makeup or skincare, we get mesmerized.
You're like, wait, what? Yeah, I mean, during quarantine, I started shooting a bunch of videos like camera makeup that I wear, you know, skincare. I'm a licensed esthetician, so I started shooting a bunch of skincare videos. I just started getting creative because I was like, all right, I'm stuck at home. I have to do something.
Yes. And
it's
even
Go
just
ahead,
to keep yourself busy and keep yourself doing something going. I always actually give people a salute and a head nod that are doing that, because it's actually not that easy when you're trying to create content and come up with new and fresh ideas and stay on the schedule. I mean, it's not the easiest thing. How do you not get fatigued doing that?
It's a lot of work, and with a baby and emails and trying to do a million things at once, it's not easy, but you know, people were saying that they loved it. And being a TV girl, I was like, all right, I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm going to wing it. And it's worked out.
That's awesome. Yeah. I also, you know a lot of us, or at least are trying to put a little extra self-care into ourselves because everything else in the world is so stressful. We also don't want it to show on, you know, all this. So I can 100% appreciate, especially like the skincare routines and that kind of stuff, because you want to feel better about things, and it's hard to do that in this time.
It's hard, and really self-care. Like, I'm the queen of self-care. I really am, like, you know, in order to look good, you got to feel good. You have to feel good to look good. And I think you can be smart and talented and beautiful and still care about makeup and skincare. I don't think that you know, necessarily can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Are there a couple things that you might be obsessed with right now? Have you found any new tips or tricks that you could share with us? Any new skincare products, anything, let us know.
Yeah. I have really been obsessed with learning how to contour before putting on foundation. So what I'll do is I'll contour with like a deep contour first here and here, which you wouldn't think to do that before foundation. Everyone always does it after. But when you do that first and then put over a thin layer of foundation, it actually makes it look less muddy and it makes it look more even and really beautiful. So I've been a huge fan of that. I've been playing around with multi-masking a lot at home. So masking where I'm more dehydrated, using like a hydrating mask in my forehead and underneath my eyes, using a scrub type mask on the cheeks where it tends to get more congested. I've been playing around a lot with that. Different tools. I always like, you know, I love a good jade roller, but I love using a jade roller in ways that people wouldn't typically, because they typically use it with a serum or a moisturizer. I've been using it with masks. I've been trying a bunch of different things just to see how my skin reacts.
You mentioned that jade roller. I have one of those. Do you really see a difference? And Amy, you could jump on this too, just because it seems like one of those things you just kind of do because they say do it. But I always feel silly using it because I'm like, this isn't doing anything.
It's great if you keep it in the fridge in the morning. I like to use it to depuff my skin. And also it does help penetrate products deeper into the skin. Serums, moisturizers, etc. But you need to do it in like a consistent manner. But also what's nice is, again, if you put it in the fridge in the morning, it really helps depuff the skin.
What about the microneedle derma rollers? Do you use those at all?
I love those. They're not scary at all. They don't hurt. They are actually completely safe to use at home if you use it appropriately. A lot of people will say, it's bad, it's bad, it's bad. I'm like, yeah, like anything else in life, you need to know how to use something properly. So if you spray it down with alcohol, wait a minute, and then run it under extremely hot, like scalding hot water, it'll kill all the bacteria. And then you put on like a hydrating serum and go in with the microneedle roller, and it helps penetrate product deeper.
Oh, no.
No.
We need this.
I need to hear that. I just ordered one.
Okay. Hopefully she'll pop up in just a second. Clearly,
so I just ordered the microneedle roller. And then I just discovered this, and oh my gosh.
Scarring helps with fine lines and wrinkles. I'm like, using it right.
Oh, is she back?
You are cutting out. Is it me or you?
I think it's you.
That's weird. I have service.
Huh. Now we can hear you, but we can't see you. Oh, there you are.
That's so weird.
Hey.
Yeah, my side is black.
Oh, I see you now.
Okay, I think it's catching up.
So
working from home problems.
I know. I was just telling Felicia, I just ordered one of those microneedle rollers. It should be here tomorrow, so I'm super excited. And I also just discovered, and I don't know if I've only used it once, but these face masks, they're double face masks for the lower part of your face. It's supposed to help with your chin contour, or your under chin contour, and some of the folds right here. As some of us ladies are getting older, we need to be careful with this area right here.
It does work. Again, all these things just need to be done consistently. So that's really what it comes down to. I actually shot a little video on how to use the microneedling roller on Instagram. So once you get it, watch the video. I pretty much simplify it. And you kind of like, you got to work in like T's across your skin. Don't over roll. So watch that video. I really simplify it, make it easy.
Okay. Help me understand, because the idea, and for anyone who isn't up on this like latest beauty trend, the idea is that it's something that you can roll up and down on your face, and it has like little needles, like little spikes on there, and it's supposed to slightly damage the skin in order to help it like regenerate. Is that how it goes?
Yes, what it does, it creates micro damage, if you will. It basically tells the skin to wake up. And by rolling these tiny, tiny little needles into your skin, it creates kind of an energy where your skin's like, whoa, something's happened. So it wants to regenerate. I love a microneedle roller. I think they are amazing when used correctly.
Do you just do it at night? And how many days a week do you do it?
I do it once a week on Sunday. Don't ever use it with other acids. Don't use it with retinols. Don't use it with vitamin C. You want to use it with things that are very hydrating. Hyaluronic acid is not an actual damaging acid.
No.
I know, I need that part. Oh man, I need that part. Because honestly, it does sound a little scary to me, but I guess it's like when they say you should work out, you work out because you want to exercise. Right. And I'm like, no, I need to preserve. So don't work out. They say you break down the muscle in order to build the muscle back up. So I think it's a similar concept. You're breaking down whatever is going here on the face, so your face will regenerate and build it back up.
So your body gets after it. Yeah.
I just want to preserve.
Well, Todd was laughing at me the other day. So because I had that mask I was telling you, so it's like it goes over your ears this way and then this way to lift your chin and then help fight the wrinkles here. So it's like my ears are sticking out like this because it's like hooked on two ways.
Yeah.
And I had an eye mask on, and I'm like, he's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, hey, mama getting old. Mama gotta fix it.
We're trying to hold it together. Yes. Last time I did a facial, my husband, he's so funny. He walked in the room and he was like, ah!
He's like, oh
Yeah, acting
Well,
like you were scared.
Liz is a great follow too. So make sure, we lost her, but she is wonderful. So make sure that you check out her Instagram. You can see there Liz Kennedy and her YouTube channel, Inner Outer Beauty, lizkennedy.co. So she's got some great tips. And if you saw how beautiful she looks right now, and she has an 8-month-old at home. So she just started sleeping again. So she's obviously doing something right. That's all I'm saying.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I guess we are ready to move on, but we need to bring John Hanson back in. He was having internet issues too, but hopefully he's with us now. Hey, John.
Hey guys, I moved into the Rivers Stadium Club, which is one of the best parts about Impact Field. And they were like, oh, we'll have the mascots here. And I'm like, I'm keeping them between me and the glass. I don't care if they're wearing masks or if they're protected. So these are the mascots behind me having a good old time. You know, what better way? My computer overheated, but these mascots won't, even though they're in these fantastic suits.
Oh, they're fighting. Oh, whoa,
Oh, they're fighting.
Whoa.
Well, ketchup versus mustard. This is an eternal battle in our city. So, but tonight is the first of 30 home games here at Impact Field. It's really distracting having them talk behind me. But 30 games here at this field this season. Opening night tonight. They got a little homestand here right now. And they are doing the limited capacity, of course. They're keeping it safe. The fans, the players, the staff safe. They include some virtual tickets. They got hand sanitizing stations throughout the ballpark. Fans required to wear masks and the social distancing. I got mine here in case anyone gets too close. But I think mustard won, by the way, guys. So we'll have more details on this in sports. But yeah, and I mentioned that I'm inside now, so nice and air conditioned. So.
You missed you, John. You missed the makeup, or you missed our.
Oh, I missed the makeup segment. Oh, well, that's just too bad, huh?
Hey, it's your loss.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay, guys. Bricks and Minifigs is a one-stop shop for all things Lego. Owner Ryan Leisner is here to tell us how they're keeping kids engaged in store and at home. Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
How's it going, everybody? How are you?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Amy's excited because she's a Lego fanatic.
Awesome.
She has spent probably just as much time with them as you have.
Well, I've been building for about 34 years, so.
Oh, maybe not that long, because she's only 31.
Well, see, there you go.
Oh,
I'm a little guy, so.
Yeah, I brought in my most recent one that I did.
Wow.
The Harry Potter.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, you put that together, Amy?
Yeah, I did that one, and then Henry got mad because so I have 3 boys as well. I know you have 3 boys.
Yep.
My 2 little guys are not big enough to get into Legos yet, but they're getting there. And so I do this with my oldest, and then he kind of lost interest because he got into video game. So I just kept doing it by myself.
Yeah, that's one of the things we get to a lot. Is a lot of people are always into the video games, and it's one of the concepts that comes up a lot about Lego being so expensive. And I actually have a degree in video game and simulation programming, so I know. You could spend $60 on a PS4 game or $50 on a Lego set. Let's say like a good sized Lego set. And the video game, they'll be done with it in like 8 hours, typically if it's like a single player game. Yeah. But Lego lasts a lifetime. So you can share it with your kids and your grandkids, and there's so much value out of it.
Do you guys sell like shoes that people can wear around the house so that if they step on a Lego, they're protected?
You know, we don't sell shoes like that. Lego did a limited run of some special like thick insulated foam sandals out in Germany for a little while. But of course, over time, the Lego will just kind of dig into the foam, and then they're pretty much useless after that. So.
What I love is that you're into really preserving Legos and some of the older ones and moving forward. Because I have to tell you, my quarantine task that I did is I separated all of my kids' Legos into colors, and then I rebuilt the kits. My younger kids, when they get older, in loose Legos, so they can put them back together.
Absolutely.
Legos are amazing for all ages.
Yeah, and that's the thing too is a lot of people call them Legos, but it's actually Lego bricks.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one of the misconceptions a lot of people have. Some of these photos are actually from some of our build competitions we were doing. With the whole coronavirus pandemic, we were doing a lot of different at-home builds and contests. So we actually did 2 of them. We had our Alpha Brick Builds contest where we did 26 different letters randomly chosen, and everybody got to choose what they wanted to build from that, whether it was a 2D or 3D model. And then afterwards, after we picked the winner for that one, we actually did another contest. It was called Battle of the Brains, Boys versus Girls, in which we pitted the boys against the girls to like collectively have a winner. And then we let our Facebook audience choose the winner, our Facebook and Instagram audience choose the winners of each gender. And then we got to pick who won, whether it was the boys or the girls, and they got a point.
And who won?
The boys ultimately won. The girls were actually winning by about 4 for a long time. And unfortunately, one day we didn't have a single female submission sent in to us. So the boys won by default.
Oh.
And that put them within the very last, we did 21 days. The very last build was worth 3 points. And the boys were within that range now because the girls didn't submit one. So then the boys won the final build, which was actually a 5-day mechanical build.
See, Felicia, Amy, you guys got to show up.
Let's just be clear that it was only by default.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, and we told the ladies, and we had a lot of interactions with a lot of them the next day, like, oh my gosh, I forgot to submit my daughters in, or I forgot to turn mine in, and it's like, I can't do anything about that.
Yeah, exactly.
So were you guys giving people like instructions on how to build certain things, or was it all creativity and they had to start from scratch?
So it was all completely free. They could do whatever they wanted to. The original Alpha Break builds was basically like, hey, build something that starts with the letter D. It didn't matter what it was. They just had to explain to us what it was, because we do have a lot of younger builders as well that are like 5 or 6 years old.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a little hard to get the concept out, what they're looking for. So as soon as they tell us, we're like, oh, okay, we see it now. And we graded them accordingly. So of course we gave like a little more weight to the younger kids and a little less to the adults, because the adults obviously know more of what they're doing for the most part. Then for the other contest, we basically did, like, say, for Harry Potter, we did a Harry Potter build. So they got to build anything from into the Harry Potter books, the movies, whatever they wanted. Becca, our part-timer here, who came up with the idea for the contest, is a huge Harry Potter fan. So she was nitpicking everything.
Our director Daniel is chiming in. He's a Lego guy. He says there's illegal builds in Legos, like there's rules about what you can or can't do. Illuminate us.
There can be. So essentially, in the world of Lego, there's what they call MOCs. It's short for my own creation. And essentially what that is something that you build yourself that's not a kit or a Lego set. And in the world, especially here in Chicago, we have Brick World Chicago, which would have happened Father's Day weekend about 2 or 3 weekends ago now. And it's like one of the largest Lego conventions in the country. And so you get about 1,400 people that are showing off these MOCs. Well, essentially what the illegal builds or legal methods is, there's certain ways that you could connect Lego together that isn't traditional, as they say. Do I have one here? I might actually have a logo.
Like 2 corners of a square instead of using more of the square or something?
Yeah, it's actually kind of like that. So if I can get this plate off, I'll show you one real quick.
I think I only did illegal builds when I was a kid. That was my fun with it. Like, I was like, I'm going to make this work my own way.
So this is one of our aftermarket-based plates that we carry here. And of course, it's just 1 plate thick. And this is another Lego plate. So one of the illegal builds is to essentially take this, and normally you would stack it vertically like this, together, but you can actually put it in horizontal like that. In between. So a lot of people refer to that as an illegal method. However, Lego themselves actually did that same thing back in like the mid 70s with a lot of their space sets to use flags, like on their Space Lunar Lander set. And so technically, if Lego does it, it's legal. And it's a weird concept between us, because a lot of people, the whole point of Lego is to find new ways to use pieces. And it's exactly what the Lego designers do over and over again, because they're only limited to about 1,200 elements a year. And you say, wow, that's a lot, but it really isn't. So they have to come up with like, wow, it's like, if we're going to come up with a new piece, we have to come up with at least like 7 different ways we could use this piece, or it's pointless.
Okay.
So there's a huge thing with that.
This is blowing my mind.
Go ahead, Felicia.
I didn't know that we were diving into the wonderful world of Legos today.
And that's the thing with us is, we in Chicago area, there's actually 10 different stores you can buy Lego from. There's 2 of our locations. We're the larger one down at Crest Hill at 4,000 square feet. We have another location up in Wheaton that's about half the size, but they usually carry a lot more of the newer stuff up there. Yeah. And there's 6 Lego stores there's a Blocks to Brick store up in the Woodfield Mall, and there's a Brickmania store up there in Schaumburg as well.
How are you so passionate about all this, and where does it come from?
So I started building when I was 4. And back then, it was right around the time where Lego lost their patent for the brick. And so there were other companies like Tyco, Mega Block, and everything else that started coming up. So we actually had a lot of mishmash parts that we didn't know why they didn't fit always the best. And that's why, because they were different brands. But since growing up, I was always excited about building different things. And back then you could really only build houses and, you know, basically a house with wheels underneath it, because that's all there really was. But over time, they've come up with over 180 different colors. There's tons of new elements and curves that you can make better and cooler things, such as I've got all the stuff behind me here.
Yeah.
We've got we got Lego Voltron here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So for all those 80s and 90s babies.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are actually trying to reuse these parts and create the original Power Rangers Megazord out of.
Oh, that's cool.
But there's a lot of really cool parts in here, a lot of nice metallic parts that you can use for different things. And
That's so detailed.
Yeah, they come out with so many parts a year. This year so far, I think they've already come out with 240 new elements as well.
Wow.
So there's a lot of new parts.
When I was a kid, I would build, and I'm not just saying this because I'm at Impact Field here, but I would build little baseball stadiums. That was my thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'd pretend to be the announcer, the keyboard guy. So it expanded off the Lego field and into a mind of creativity. And I guess that's the point.
Yeah, and the thing is, Lego always had a thing, and if you watch any of the documentaries out there, I know there's still how there's a documentary on Netflix, how the toys were made. I can't remember the toys that made us or whatever. And they kind of go over it too, is they always believed in the system of Lego. And for the last 60 years, all of the pieces have always fit together. And that's one of the things that always makes it generational that you can give to your kids and grandkids, because your old sets from the 70s or 80s can still mingle with the sets of your kids or grandkids from 2015.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing that Lego has going for it that no other toy in the country or the world has ever done.
Well, Lego got smart too, because the creator line, which is the for the older kids and much more complicated stuff, it kept all of us intrigued by it. I mean, it's fabulous.
Yeah, and the creator line, for most part, there's a lot of 3-in-1 sets, so you can build 3 different things with the same set. A lot of people actually buy 3 of them so they can build one of each and keep them together.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the latest thing that Lego's been doing is getting into the adults, or the adult fan of Lego, or AFOLs as we call them. So they've come up with bigger, better sets and better looking sets, kind of like this.
Ooh.
Oh
So
my.
this is a much nicer box than the standard Lego box. It's also a helmet collector series. And they're actually going to be releasing a new Iron Man set here in about a month. So there's more and more coming. And so we're just kind of going off of that and trying to keep everybody involved, especially with right now, everybody's kind of, still quarantined at home. And even though we're in phase 4 right now here in Illinois, it's still pretty limited. And a lot of people are still kind of concerned about going out. You have the whole debate of whether to wear a mask or not, or this or that. And we just wanted to give somebody, everybody and the parents at home who are homeschooling their kids, the kids at home, something to do that's not only fun, but it's creative and keeps their mind going.
Yes.
So we're going to be continuing doing that. We actually have a YouTube channel right now. If you can search us up and just go on Bricks and Minifigs Crest Hill. I think we have over 75 videos on there right now. We actually live streamed every single day for the last 3.5 months. So we were pretty busy with that, with all these contests. And we have a Meet the Bam Fam section where we actually interviewed each other here at the store, and you get to know us a little bit more besides just doing Lego. And then we also have some new streams coming out, which is What Breaks My Bricks, which is with David, our manager here. It's just kind of the annoyances that he has with Lego, such as illegal maneuvers. Why are there illegal ones?
Right.
Just coming up with new ones. So there's a lot of different things going on with that in our channel there. And, we're just trying to get people involved, trying to get them in. And a lot of people don't really know that we exist yet. We actually have 38 stores roughly around the country. And a lot of people are going to the Walmarts and Targets right now, and they're out of Lego. Well, we have full shelves.
Yeah.
So
Right.
if you guys are ever looking for Lego, come see one of our
Heyo.
Bricks and Minifig store near you, and you can get a lot, whether it's current or old.
I've
That's
also seen a
awesome.
lot of Lego camps that they're doing for
Yes.
kids this summer, which is amazing.
Yeah, we actually, unfortunately, with the coronavirus and the limitations we've had, we haven't been able to do many of our camps here. But usually we do a stop motion animation camp here. We do a building basics class for people who aren't used to doing Lego. We teach them how to create better structures and better devices. We also have a Mox and Motion class that we also have on our YouTube channel, teaching people how to do mechanical builds. So if they're not used to doing like Technic bricks, or they're interested in doing like a carousel, we can teach them easy methods on how to do that.
That's great.
So we have fun too. We have slime nights. We have a 4-lane Pinewood Derby track here too. We let the scouts come in and do some practice races here. We race with them as well.
You got a lot of stuff going on, Ryan.
We do a lot.
We are out of time, so we got to move on. Amy and you can talk offline for about 6 hours about Legos if you want. But you heard him mention that if you want to see the store for yourself at their location in Crest Hill, or keep up with them, keeps up with Bricks and MINIFIGS at BAM Crest Hill on Instagram, and there's the website right there.
And if you're interested as well, we also have a new text program. If you text Lego to 36,000, it'll help you keep up with a lot of things instantly. We'll be doing a lot of flash sales and events that way too.
Boy, I feel like you need more outreach and things to do.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez.
And you can find us everywhere. I mean, we're on Facebook, Instagram. We even have a TikTok that we're starting with some small stop motion animation videos that we're going to be doing.
Great.
So it'll be good.
Thanks, Ryan.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
I actually waited an hour. I waited an hour when we were in London for the opening of the largest Lego store in Europe. It was a couple say that.
I'm just like, wow. Wow, that's all I can say is wow. Okay, guys. Our next guest is a Chicago girl, former police officer and Marine Corps officer, an author and part of the LGBTQ+ community. But most importantly, one of her most decorated titles is that she is the first ever African-American female combat pilot. You guys welcome VERNICE FLYGIRL ARMOUR.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to be here with you.
Hey.
What a resume you've got. Do you play the piano too behind you?
I do. And if it wouldn't rip off my mic, I'd throw a little Beethoven or Fur Elise on you, but I know we got to get the sound bites. So.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
That is so funny. You look great. I actually interviewed you in Charlotte, and so it's good to see you again. And the fact that you're still on this mission.
Hey, you know what? The mission doesn't stop. When you're walking your purpose on the planet, what do you do?
When did you know what your purpose was?
Now that's a great question. It shifts, right? In each moment, you're given insight on where you are. So at the age of 4, I wanted to be a cop that rode a horse downtown. That was my mission. That was my purpose. Transition to being a combat pilot in a Marine. Transition to, starting my company and sharing the message of engagement. To now, it's really facing the conversation that we're currently in our nation, which totally caught me by surprise, like so many.
Yeah.
I mean,
go ahead, Amy.
This has had this whole time. I don't know. Tell me how you feel. Are you uplifted that you're seeing so much outreach from people and so much protesting in the street and so many people coming together? Or is it disheartening because we're still seeing these police shootings as well?
So it's a mix, right? And when it first happened, when I saw, George Floyd take his last breath, I'm like, oh my God, I just saw this guy get killed on national TV. And cop, soldier, former soldier, Marine, diversity officer, Black, woman, gay. What do I do?
Yeah.
Right. And I said, well, I have to say something. And I've never used my platform in a political, but then I was like, this is not political. We have to be proactive, and something is happening here, and silence is consent. Silence gives permission. I even saw a sign that said silence is betrayal. So I almost didn't have a choice. We all have a choice, but I couldn't not do something or say something.
Yeah. I think it's so easy to sit back and say, oh, I don't really want to get into it, or that's not really my message, or I want to kind of stay lighthearted and keep the mood up and keep it going. But I think I agree with your sentiment in the fact that we don't have that luxury anymore, just as a humanity.
That's right. You just hit it on the head. And when we're talking about Black Lives Matter and we see the signs everywhere and people are talking about it, I hear people say, well, all lives matter. And we've all been hearing this, right?
Yeah.
And one friend said to me, well, when I go to a breast cancer march, you know, all cancer matters, but I don't see people with signs that say, well, what about lung cancer? What about colon cancer? All of it's important, but in that moment, we're there for one mission. And honestly, we just want Black lives to matter as much as other lives.
Yeah.
And being a former police officer and in 3 discriminated classes, right? Black, woman, and gay, I really have a crazy perspective of seeing it, having seen it from both sides.
Yeah, and that's so frustrating just because I don't know why people feel so threatened by that statement. It's angering.
Well, it's almost like people feel if I say Black lives matter, other lives don't matter. But that's just an indicator, right? That the message is not being communicated in a way where people are hearing it. So we still have to continue to find a way to get people, to meet people where they are so we can bring them on the journey, right? And we have to have white folks as allies, period, end of story. We did not hide in the basement of Black people's homes in the Underground Railroad. Dr. King wasn't marching by himself at the end. So we have to have those moms who are at home with their kids, whose kids are growing up. Like in this moment, how are we stepping outside of our bubble and truly having the conversation that will lead to behaviors, actions, and results? We have to take from protest to policy.
So I think your resume is pretty impressive, not only because it's impressive for anyone to have done, but also, like you said, with intersectionality between being a Black gay woman. Do you think that we need more people that represent a wide range of backgrounds, colors, sexual orientations, etc., to enter these professions that in the past have only been reserved for white men? Does that help change as much as conversation helps change?
Well, I think anyone that wants to be in the profession should be in the profession, right? Like even in the military, when women wanted to be in combat arms roles and in infantry. Now, I personally didn't want to sleep in the mud in a foxhole, but if, you know, a woman was qualified to do it, and we hear that little, if I will use that word twice, qualifier, if qualified. I mean, I could do more push-ups and pull-ups than a lot of the guys in the Marine Corps, right? So it's how are we giving the access and opportunity, right? In our Pledge of Allegiance, justice for all. And the more we give the opportunity, the folks that want to step up will. And the people that are in those places now, how do we get them to have a different culture and mentality? Because as a cop, you know, I'll be honest, I use this phrase, it's how we're bred and led in some ways with our culture about how things are right now.
I wonder too, and maybe your voice is the help that people need, but every time you hit a wall, either being gay, being a female in the military, being a gay female in the military, being a female officer, you know, how did you ever hit a road where you're like, I don't know if I can do this anymore? And then what did you do to take the next step?
So that's a great question. So basically what you're asking is, how did I overcome the challenges?
Yeah.
Number one, I had to keep my focus on the why. Why am I doing this? What's my purpose? Why am I here in this moment pursuing a career as an officer, or trying to get on the motorcycle squad in Nashville, or, you know, trying to become a Marine, which it took me 4 years. Women could only apply once a year, right? After the 4th year, they were like, okay, this chick's not going away, right? And it's a matter of, you know, grit, not giving up. And, you know, I talk a lot about gutsy leadership, courage, power, and grit. Are we stepping out there, being vulnerable to go for what we really want, even in the midst of obstacles, even when it gets tough? If I didn't have a spoon, a backhoe, a shovel, I was still gonna do it with my fingernails if I had to. Right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, I know. You mentioned that it took you 4 years in order to become, what is it, a pilot?
No,
Combat pilot?
To get accepted to officer candidate school, to be an officer in the Marine Corps.
Oh, okay. I want to know, as you were in that period, in that time period, did you feel like this was such a big deal? Were you aware that you were the first Black woman? Just what were you thinking? What was going through your head?
So when I first expressed interest, the recruiting officer did tell me that if I were to make it, I would be the first Black female pilot in the Marine Corps, whether it's jets, helicopters, whatever. And I was like, what? Because at the time it was 1995. Now, little did I know that Dakowitz which is a committee that makes recommendation to the military for women in the services, right? That committee had made a recommendation that women should be able to serve in combat roles in aviation. That had just passed in, I think, 93. So when 95 came along, it was still fresh, it was still hot. And I don't know if political pressure or, political things played a role in me not getting selected, the first couple of years, but it took 2 years even for the first woman to become an aviator in the Marine Corps, Sarah Deal in 95. So it's interesting. And when the obstacles are presented, it's a choice, have to forge forward.
Unbelievable. 95, still having to deal with obstacles like that.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still happening now, though.
Yeah.
I know.
I mean, I still keep my eye on the Marine Corps. I was a diversity for Headquarters Marine Corps liaison to the Pentagon, where I worked in diversity policy for all the services. And when I became a pilot, there were 2 other women, Elizabeth and Miska, and there were 20 years before the next woman became a pilot in the Marine Corps. I think we just got our first pilot, I think last year, or maybe earlier this year.
Not only that, you got
Crazy.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell. You got Don't Ask, Don't Tell just being repealed under the last administration, and you still have LGBT issues in the military with President Trump's transgender ban. I mean, like we take 3 steps forward and we take 2 steps back. It seems like every couple of years, and that's why I imagine part of your message is pedal to the metal. Like this, it's time for talk and action need to continue.
Absolutely. Talk and action, right? Again, how do we go from protesting, which we need, to policy change? And we have to vote people in office. So with, taking our men and women, transgender men and women out of the service with a tweet, folks, we have to get engaged. And the folks that are engaged, those of us, we have to go out and get our neighbors, our community engaged. Because if we don't, we're just going to keep getting more of this. Right. Yeah. And what is this? Policies that don't work for our community.
You could, with your awesome resume, you could be doing anything under the sun right now, but instead you're choosing to use your voice and try to help move people and engage other people and encourage other people. Why?
Because, well, several reasons. Number one, I believe my purpose on the planet, like my sole purpose, and you asked about that a little earlier, really is to connect our community, even our global community. When you look at women in leadership around the globe and how are women stepping into leadership with guts and courage, right, and grit in this moment. Since the age of 4, I wanted to be that cop that made a difference in my community. Then I ended up getting in the service, and little did I know, people would start requesting me to come and help create transformation in their organizations. And yes, it took more of a commercial slant on corporate America, leadership conferences like that, but it's still touching people right here where we can make it. If we can make a difference in our lives, then we can absolutely make a difference in our major brands. And if you see, major brands are stepping up in a way now that they never have before. So now I'm having deeper conversations with C-level folks and senior executives on how do we transition our culture, our company, and our country when it comes to how we treat all of our people, one nation, under God, indivisible, right?
Ooh, you need to run for office.
Don't forget liberty and justice for all. Emphasis on all.
Emphasis on all. I mean, because we have to have a new conversation. My dad had the conversation with me. He said, pull over. He's teaching me how to drive. What do you do if the cops pull you over? I make my hands visible. I put them at the 10 and 2. That's right. Like, Dad, what if I didn't do anything wrong? He's like, that doesn't matter. My dad didn't want me to be right. He wanted me to come home that night. Dr. King said it's always the right time to do what is right. So how are we, again, as a community, stepping up, not sticking our head in the sand like an ostrich? And it's not about continuously finding fault, even though there are some things at fault, but how do we work towards the solutions? And if a Marine doesn't know how to do anything, we're going to save the world with a little duct tape and bubble gum, right?
Yes.
We got to get it together. We got to get it together.
All right. Vernice, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Hey, absolutely. And I know, folks, I want people to continue the conversation with me. Social media, hit me up. Let's be of service to each other and stay gutsy.
Yeah, let's get that full screen
it.
up. You called for it, so there it is. All the
Boom!
information to follow her.
There we go.
Thanks, Vernice. Have a good one.
Hey, thanks, guys.
All right. All right, let's do a little sports in 60 here today. I believe we're going to get Mr. Brandon Pope on in here to join as well. Hey, Vernice seems to be sticking around for sports as well, too.
I mean, I like sports. I play professional football.
Okay. We'll chat about that more next time.
All right, I'm out.
All right. So, Sports in 60. First of all, I'm with the Chicago Dogs here today. They're hosting their first game at Impact Field tonight. Brandon Pope, you got a good view of the field behind me. And actually, we got some pitchers doing some long toss right now. Brandon, you ever thrown a baseball that far? You can do that or no?
I've actually been called on to do some first pitches in my time for some minor league teams. So, nothing
minor. What was that? Single A or like into, how low are we talking here?
Like South Bend Cubs, like.
Oh, okay. Not too bad.
Not terrible. And
before we get to this story, I just want to really quickly say that they're doing theme nights on Saturday night, and I'm reading this one because they're doing Superhero Night. So, Brandon, mark your calendar, Saturday, July 18th, and Caddyshack Night on the 25th, celebrating 40 years. They're keeping it safe here at Impact Field. They're the hand sanitizers, they gave you one right here. The masks, if you're in the indoor areas, limited capacity. So, Brandon, what do you want to talk about with sports today?
Exciting times, man. I'm pumped for baseball, some baseball to come back.
Yeah, for sure.
Something I wanted to mention here, Colin Kaepernick. Big news coming out for him. He has a new deal. The former Niners quarterback turned activist. He's going to be featured in an exclusive docu-series produced by ESPN as part of a deal made with Disney overall. So not the quarterback deal he was looking for necessarily, but this is a big one regardless. It's a partnership that's going to be about elevating Black creators, crafting different stories that explore race and social injustice and topics like that. And Kaepernick in a statement said, "I look forward to sharing the docuseries of my life story in addition to many other culturally impactful projects we're developing." It's also worth noting, despite being exiled from the NFL in 2016, he still wants to play quarterback. And he's also got this going on, which is pretty cool. So we don't know what's going to happen with his football future, but pretty amazing deal from Disney there.
What are the odds he signs with a team? If you were a betting man, Brandon?
If I'm a betting man, what? Say it again.
That he gets signed with a team.
If I was a betting man, I'd say he's going to get signed with a team.
Okay.
Do I think he'll be starting for a team? No. I think the days have passed for that. Yeah, he hasn't played in.
It's been a long time. Yeah, for sure.
No. I mean, just an incredible journey that he's had in the last 3-4 years. And now him having a seat at the table on so many different fronts, and certainly being able to lend his expertise and his voice to some of these major companies. It's just amazing how fast, well, I guess you could say slow and fast, that things have shifted for him.
Yeah, for sure.
If I was
All right, Pope, thanks.
I'd tell him to stay in this lane. Like, I think this is the lane for him.
I agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And working outside the system and, doing his thing with that. I think the NFL thing is not going to happen for him like he wants. I think it can do a lot of harm to the discussion as well. If he gets out there and he's not good. So, but it's his decision, and he still has a passion. That's what he's a football player. So we'll see what happens.
Sure. Thanks, Brandon.
See you guys.
Take care.
Well, Ari Rose is a best-selling author, motivational speaker, and podcast and TV host. She's here to tell us about her passion for helping others uncover their best selves.
Hey, Ari, how you doing?
Here we go. Hey.
Hey, how are you guys?
We are doing really good. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So you also have a lot of things on your resume as well. Where is this guiding light coming from that you feel like you need to share with other people?
I think especially now in the times of diversity that we're going through with pandemic, civil rights revolution, everything that's going on, I think more than ever, a lot of us are kind of feeling stuck, feeling anxiety, feeling a bunch of emotions we've never felt before. Even feeling lack of identity, because now we're starting to adapt to a new norm. What does this new me look like? And so I've been through that before where, I've had a job and then it falls through, company filed for bankrupt, you're lost, you're having to reinvent yourself, rediscover yourself. And it can be a really scary time. And I think a lot of people just kind of need some guidance. You have the ideas, but some of us have a problem with quieting out the noise. There's so much going on in the world. And so it's nice to have somebody that can say, hey, I've been through that before. Let me help pull those thoughts and those ideas out of your mind and create a path for you.
I love the idea of empowerment events, and the name Sip and Slay is just killing me. That's awesome. How have you guys been adjusting during this, during the COVID thing? Are you still able to do events, or do you have some planned in the future?
Yeah, so Sip and Slay, that came across about 2 years ago, and it hit off like thunder because of the fact that I wanted to let women know that, yes, even though it's amazing to slay, which is a word that was created a few years ago, right? Which is like face, makeup, hair, but people forgot about slaying from the inside out. And the things that really matter, the basics, like holding your house down, holding your husband down, holding a relationship, networking, building a resume. So these events were made to empower women to become like 100% well-rounded, just slaying in every area. And so unfortunately, because of COVID, we did have to put a pause on it. So I moved them on to online webinars now. And what I did was I created an online branding coach called Destination Her. And so women, tons of women from all across the nation, mothers, single mothers, career-driven women, just anybody from women just everywhere are coming, and we are helping them with branding, with coaching, with self-development, setting goals. And it doesn't even, you don't even have to have a business or anything. You could be anywhere. It could just be like, I want to set financial goals. I want to start a business, whatever that looks like. So we've adjusted to the norm, the new norm, which is online Zoom.
Well, do you find too with women a lot of times that they just need a little bit of support and a little bit of, it's okay, you can do it, motivation to get them going in the right direction?
Absolutely. I think a lot of us just want to feel like I'm not alone. And whatever emotions you are feeling, they are very valid. I tell all my girls that I have one-on-one calls with, I said, whatever you're feeling, it's valid. You have to learn to embrace the emotion. If you're feeling anxiety, it's okay. It's normal. We're going through a pandemic. No one's ever been through this. If you're having to reinvent yourself, it's okay. You're not the only one that's feeling like this. Mm-hmm. You're scared to start your business. It's okay. It's valid. We've all been there. We've all felt this. So yeah, absolutely. Women just need like somebody to hold their hand sometimes and just say, hey girl, it's okay. Like, you're going to get through this. I felt that before. It's totally normal. You're not crazy.
Yeah. I feel like this would be a huge thing that's needed even before the last 3 months. Have you seen like a difference or more people reaching out given everything that's going on?
I have. Before the pandemic, before the 3 months, it was a lot more of like goal setting. And now it's just like women are on fire. They're ready to launch their businesses. You know what? I've always liked to bake. And so I want to turn this into a business. Or I've always been into fitness, but I had a 9 to 5. I'm laid off now, but I'm really into juicing. And so all these brands are just booming because people are now supporting smaller businesses. People are launching smaller businesses. And like I said, everyone's just ready to reinvent themselves and figure out what does the next me look like.
You've also wrote a couple books. You have a way with phrases. I like Fight the Funk and Rising from Within.
Fight the funk here.
What a coincidence. You just happen to have that right there. Yeah.
My office.
And I was going to say, I'm sure I don't know what year Fight the Funk came out, but boy, it applies right now.
It does. Fight the Funk came from that experience when I was working for a major television network and they went bankrupt in San Francisco. I'd gone to school for my bachelor's, did the whole internship, got the coffee, moved up. And then one day, I'm living the life on TV host, doing all these things. And then boom, sorry, Ari, we ran out of money. The whole thing gets shut down. And so I went into this funk of like, what's next? I've worked so hard to get here. And you're telling me I have like, this is over? There's what? I don't understand. So I call it a funk. I don't want to say when you fall into a depression because that's a whole nother ball game. And, but when you're in a funk, and I think we hit speed bumps a few times in our lives, maybe a couple times a year, where, it's just that moment where you're just like, ugh, I know there's more, but I can't figure it out. But I'm also just not motivated to try to figure it out. And so Fight the Funk is about really just asking simple, basic questions that we all need to ask ourselves when we look in the mirror. Like, are you doing enough? Are you waking up early? Are your friends really good influences around you? Are you in a relationship that you need to walk away from at this point? And all those little things just kind of guide you through the book to say, oh my God, I've been knowing what I had to do to get out this funk. Now I know what to do.
Yeah. Well, obviously you want people to pay attention to your book and of course a lot of the content that you're pushing out, but we always try to leave our viewers with something tangible. What would be that message that you would give to someone who's watching right now, who is in the middle of their funk? And like you said, it's not only the fact that they need help, but it's also you need motivation to inspire yourself to get some help.
You know, I think just letting everybody know that whatever you're going through right now, it's 100% valid and you are not alone. You know, you have to figure out what this new norm is. It's, you know, you have to elevate your tribe and your circles. Don't think networking is dead. There's so many things on Zoom, so many groups on Facebook where you can connect with like-minded individuals. You have to start doing the tedious work in order for you to elevate to that next level of you. And until then, you're always going to continue being the old you, being stuck, unhappy, and just wondering like, what if I had taken that next step? So whatever that is, there's so many resources out there, and Destination Her is one of them.
Ari, thank you so much for enlightening us and helping us get out of our funk here this morning.
No problem. Thank you.
And you can keep up with Ari on Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead, Amy. Sorry.
Oh, no, I say, go for it.
All right, on Facebook and Twitter at Ari Rose, on Instagram I am Ari Rose, and arirose.com. Check out the podcast, The Hope Dealer, whenever you listen to podcasts, and our books, Fight the Funk and Rising from Within. Okay, another hot and humid day, and that's really what we got in store for a while. I'm actually going to share my screen, Daniel, if you don't mind giving me the access to do it, because I want to show where some of these storms are popping up. And they're not much right now. I just lost the screen. What am I showing right now? Okay. There's little storms popping up. I lost what I was trying to do there. Let's take a look at downtown. We have, again, a lot of sunshine, just little storms popping up in northwest Indiana right now as we got a little breeze off the lake that's competing with the hot air. Boy, Lake Michigan water temperatures, by the way, are in the upper 70s. That's pretty darn high. But the temperatures outside are in the 90s. The dew points have dropped just a little bit, but we're still in the upper 60s, so our heat index is in the mid 90s. And then that's going to be kind of where we end up today. 94 degrees will be our high. Look at the 7-day forecast. That's kind of where we're going to sit for the next couple days. Mid 90s with heat indices continuing to rise to the 100s. But it looks like a more comfortable weekend ahead.
Hey guys, also I want to let you know there's a new episode of DC Stargirl coming up tonight at 7 on CW26. You can catch up on the old episodes before the premiere at CWTV.com.
There we go. You guys, we'll be back at 2 p.m. with more fun, and we've got an interview with Tamron Hall, so we will see you then.
And go Chicago Dogs. Good luck this year.